G'day viewers, this is Troy from Troy's Visual Arts channel. I've made a lot of progress with my 902 green CRT 2-inch TV project since my last video. Yeah, I've now wired up the socket for the 902 tube, and I've colour coded the wires in this sequence. So pin number 1 is green, pin number 2 is 2 and 7. The heater pins are red and brown. Pin number 3 is yellow, which is going to the focus pot. Pin number 4 is magenta, which is for the line center pot control, and goes from line center to pin 4 of the tube. Pin 5 is blue, which goes to this part of the circuit. Hold on a minute, no, pin 5 goes to this part of the circuit. Pin 6 is purple, which goes to the frame centering control. And yeah, that's about it. And I've already wired up some of the wires to the pots that are already on the chassis, on the top part of the chassis, front top faceplate. So here we have the horizontal centering and the vertical centering control. We've got the width control here and the height control here. So they're all connected and all wired up. Now underneath I've now added a audio transformer. Yeah, I bought it from Jaycar, and it's the same type that my friend John Hunter has used for his 902 TV. So that's now bolted on the underside of the chassis, and yeah, I've wired the primary side up. Now I just got to connect the secondary side to the speaker at the front here, which brings us to the second part of the chassis. I've drilled a hole here for the mains to come in, and the heater voltages. Well, not the mains from the mains power 240 volt power supply, but the mains from the secondary of the AC power supply, that is. Anyway, so yeah, I've got the speaker there. I've got to connect that up to the audio transformer. I've bolted on the focus pots, and yeah, I'm yet to wire them all up. Now, this part here is that portion of the circuitry. I'm still yet to wire that to the rest of the circuitry, and that's the 330k pot here, which is going to go to ground. And yeah, moving over to the power supply side of things. So yeah, we've got the B plus outputs, as I mentioned in the previous video. Yeah, also I've added part of the CRT circuitry to this platform as well, bakelite platform, because I thought it'd be best seated here, so I could connect the brightness control pot straight up to it. As you can see here, the middle wiper part connects to this part of the circuit, which is here, and those two green caps go to the earth, which is there. And this is epoxied to the bakelite platform, and this is all the other circuitry here. And yeah, this of course will be positioned here once I've bolted it in. So yeah, she's pretty much not too far away from being completed. I'm going to soon connect these two halves of the chassis together, but first things first, what I'm going to do is double check over my circuitry, make sure everything here is wired up correctly, and then I'll wire up the unconnected wires together, and yeah, connect this chassis up, and yeah, she'll be pretty much all done. Oh yes, another thing I've got to bolt on here is a mount for the 902 tube. And I'm thinking, I'm debating whether to use this or not as the mount. Here I've got an old heart rate monitor, which I'm using for parts. So I'll just pull out the chassis. So pull this out. Here we've got a mount that I could use for the 902 tube. And the 902 tube does actually fit in not too badly inside this mount here. And I'm thinking maybe I could use that mount piece here as well. Just got to be sure that the height is pretty much the same as this circular hole here. Well, if it's not, I can just sort of chock it up a bit till it is the right height. Anyway, I'm really considering mounting this on and using this as a tube mount. Anyhow, oh yes, I've also, like with the volume control pot, I've also got a problem with this focus control pot being way too close to the chassis here. It was a bad decision on my part to have the pot mounted this way. I should have mounted it downwards so that the terminals are down this way. So yeah, I'm going to have to insulate this area, stick some put a few layers of tape on, so that way I'm not going to get any shorting between these terminals and the underside of this chassis here. So that's another thing I must do. Anyway, don't know if there's much more to talk about here, but she's really taken shape, and yeah, not too far from completion. And yeah, here we've really got a rat's nest of wiring, or better said, bird's nest of wiring. So yeah, I'm just going to have to go through all the wiring, trace over the schematic, and make sure it's all wired up correctly, and then yeah, I'll do the finishing wiring up, and should be soon ready for testing. I guess with this tube I'm going to have to sort of like give it a bit of a rejuvenation by gradually heating up the heaters of it, and just, yeah, like I did with the other tubes, give it a bit of a gradual heat up and let it heat up for a few hours, gradually increasing the voltage, and yeah, that should rejuvenate the tube ready for use. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. Stay tuned for the next video when I have it pretty much near completion. This is Troy from the Troy's Visual Arts channel, signing out.